Hey guys, James Wilson Taylor here for Rock Sound. It's the latest of our video calls. We've been chatting to everybody while we're all at home at the minute. I'm delighted to say from Palm Reader, we have Josh and Andy on the line. How are you, gentlemen?
Very well. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Good to see you both. Good to see you both. We will start this off in the way we've started off every single one of these, which is to say, hope you guys are keeping as safe and as well as you possibly can in this rather strange time. Andy, of course, chuckling immediately. We'll come straight to you. How are you getting on, man? Are you well?
I've got COVID.
Yeah, not ideal, is it? Not ideal. Yeah, how are you actually feeling, man? I hope it's not been too much of a stress for you.
No, I had a bit of a fever on Saturday, but generally it's just been like a bit of tiredness and a bit sweaty. And I lost my sense of smell about 2 hours ago, so that's cool. Positive stuff.
Oh man, I hope you get a quick recovery. At least everyone's having to stay at home at the minute, so it's not like your life's being that disrupted. This is not many plans to cancel, really.
No, I mean, my missus is a teacher and she's off school now, so she's happy/not happy.
Fortunate, best you can hope for. Yeah, exactly. If something goes that wrong, that's the best you can hope for. Josh, how about yourself, man? How's these last few months been for you, man? You keeping all right?
Yeah, pretty well. I mean, as good as things can be, really.
Yeah.
I haven't contracted the virus yet. My girlfriend did recently, but somehow I didn't. So just sort of rolling with the punches at the minute. Everything's okay, and okay is about as good as it's been.
Yeah, that's the same for everybody. Well, how has it worked actually for you guys in terms of band stuff? Because a lot of people I've been speaking to have found it particularly difficult, even when restrictions have kind of been loosened a bit, because they happen to live in completely different parts of the country. What's the situation with you guys?
4 of us live like 15 minutes apart, and we've got a studio in the middle of town. So very socially distancedly, we've been sort of gathering in the corners of rooms and doing a thing. And then we've also recorded our live stream as well. So we've been doing some stuff. Luckily, we decided to take the summer off, which kind of worked in our favor. So we're not kind of behind the curve of what we're supposed to be doing, I guess. So there's a lot of people have had it a lot worse than we have. A lot worse.
Yeah, no, that's definitely
quite lucky that we recorded the album at the start of the year as well. So throughout the entire lockdown period, we've been able to figure out the rest of it.
Yeah, that's definitely helpful timing for sure. Yeah,
lots of Zoom calls.
Oh God! Oh, tell me about it. I can't possibly imagine what that's like. Nearly episode 100, kids. Stay with us. But I like that you guys have already recorded the live stream and everything. That's been something very cool. I mean, obviously everyone's tried it. I guess the novelty's worn off to an extent with live streams. But what's really cool is watching how artists approach it, because every single one I've watched, at least, has been completely different on varying levels, all trying different things that are kind of unique to their own bands and their own setup. Were there any you'd watched in the run-up going, we'll nick a bit of that, like some of them, what they've done there?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the Bleed From Within one especially was outrageous. They had that massive screen. I can't remember the measurements of it, but it's just
13 meters.
Just stupid. Like, come on, play fair. That's not really like. But yeah, I've watched a couple, but I think we tried when we were talking about creating it, and when we were talking about what we wanted to do, we were very conscious of the fact that we didn't want it to be necessarily like a gig setup. We didn't want it to be like your standard, I don't know, live show. So we wanted it to be more of a cinematic experience, something a bit more grandiose, for want of a better word. More of an experience than like what you'd expect, I guess. We wanted to go sort of a little bit left field, maybe make it something that you could watch back in however many years time and still find little nuggets of bits.
Yeah, no, it's a good approach to have. We're all in unique situations. It's a show unlike any show you would do normally. Why not try new things? Why not make sure it's fitting there? And definitely a good way to launch the album, which, let's talk about. The album is Sleepless, again, coming very, very soon at time of recording. Recorded before the start of this year. That's got to be a very comfortable position. When were you actually writing and recording this, and what was that whole process like?
We started writing it April last year, I think.
Yeah, so early last year, I'd say.
Yeah, and then it does its normal palm reader snowballing effect thing where we get to a certain point and then we go, okay, so we'll book studio way in the future, and then the stress then starts to snowball, as do the songs, till it kind of all reaches a point, and then you go, right, we've got the studio tomorrow, that's like the end of it. And then as soon as we start tracking, we go, oh, these are actually finished. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's a fun / not fun journey every time.
Yeah.
Sounds like a simple process from the way you've just worded that. Just get in there and, oh, there it is.
Well, if you describe it in under 10 seconds, it's always going to sound simple, I suppose. But my God, the amount of stress involved in writing this record, it was easily the most stressful one, but in a good way. Yeah. We put ourselves under pressure for the right reasons.
Nice. What was that pressure putting stuff? I mean, it does feel like even in the stuff I just read, I mean, you're in the current issue of the magazine, it's about to come out, and hearing the stuff you've been saying around it, it definitely feels like you had lofty ambitions for it. You're always wanting to push yourselves forward, which is great. But what is that pressure you put yourself under? Is it just to beat what you've done previously? Was that the kind of main aim?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we're only ever really in competition with ourselves. We don't really focus on what anyone else is doing. We never really have. Trends aren't something that we're really aware of or care about. It's only ever what we want to do and how we can do better than the last time, like you say, how we can beat ourselves.
Yeah, no, that's a good attitude to have. And particularly, what were those learnings before? Because Braille was such a kind of important record for you guys. I know you've kind of spoken on that a lot. And again, I think, by the sounds of it, we're really challenging yourself there, both in terms of what you were doing musically and lyrically and where you guys wanted to sit. Having had that, and you guys all seemed incredibly happy with it, and it definitely went down well with the audience. What were the things from that where you went, that worked, that didn't, that's what we want to take forward? Like, what really did spur you on with it? Yeah, I'm going with big questions. That's right. Yeah. I'm throwing it in on the Zoom, and we're doing it.
You know, I don't think when we started writing, I don't think we were really sort of pulling from any songs off Braille necessarily. I think there's definitely more of a melodic element to it, which got introduced in Braille. But then that's always been an element in even on our first record. There was melodic vocals and bits. It was just less prominent.
I think maybe with this one we looked at what we wanted not to do. So there's certain elements like the maybe some of the kind of like faster, more punky stuff that we kind of just went, we maybe felt that like it for us had like run its course at this time. So maybe we kind of like tried to veer away from incorporating like too many of those elements. But then there's a few bits on there which are just savage because we're angry young old men.
Well, I think that even that wasn't necessarily a conscious decision. I think
it just kind of comes out.
Yeah, we only ever really write what we want to hear, and that's, I mean, it's been the case from the very beginning.
Oh, it's always the best way to be, isn't it? It's where the amount of bands that have talked about getting tripped up in that way, trying to second guess their audience or whatever. The fact is, you have to like it first. It has to come from there, right?
Yeah.
I think we kind of write for ourselves and then just hope people will like it. And we've been really lucky in the fact that people have to this point. Always the first time to be proved wrong. Hopefully it's not this time.
I'm sure it won't be. Come on.
We'll post that down the road for next record.
Like 2020 needs any more shit in it. Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. Yeah. Enough of the negativity. Come on now. Come on. But it's true that I mean, the reaction to the singles must have been really pleasing because, you know, again, it seems to have gone down very well. I mean, talk to me through a couple of those actually in particular. Let's go with Willow, because with that accompanying music video as well, big drama, big, you know, kind of on an epic scale, and, you know, not just your standard performance-based music video that a lot of people have had to put out this year. Talk to me about, you know, the themes of that song and why you wanted to get it out in front of the record, I suppose. Is it a good representation of what's to come, do you think?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I think it was the first song that came together off the record.
Yeah.
It kind of set a precedence in terms of what we were, well, like maybe what we were looking to do with the rest of it. I mean, lyrically, in terms of subject matter, it's a bit of a dark one. But then again, I can't help it. I tend to write those songs. The music kind of encourages that type of lyrical content. It's not exactly the happiest music, let's be honest. There's no major chords and upbeat bits and pieces. But anyway, yeah, sorry, I digress. The song itself is about a mother, like a young mother, losing a child, and the turmoil that ensues. It's kind of to try and hold a light to the strength that a mother needs to get through that, and then just the strength of mothers in general. I think it's something that isn't spoken about in our genre, or many, really. And that's kind of a running theme throughout the album. I tried to write about subjects that I'd never written about or necessarily heard others write about.
Yeah, that's an interesting challenge to set for yourself as well, because even with something like Willow, well, you know, I'm sure a lot of people listening have never been in that situation of you know, that tragic situation, having to lose a child, but feelings of loss is something that's universal, isn't it? Is it an interesting challenge to set yourself talking about kind of specific things in that way, but still keeping it as relatable to a wider audience and maybe bringing them into that understanding in a way?
Yeah. It was, like you say, it was a challenge for sure. On this record, I tried to veer away again from just writing about my own experience. Not necessarily because the well had run dry, but just because I feel like, I mean, there's only so far you can go down that road before eventually it's, I don't know, flogging a dead horse. Eventually it's, I mean, not everyone cares about my experience, and there's other things that need to be spoken about, I think. No,
it's an interesting place to sit as a songwriter for sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. And let's talk about one of the other ones that people have heard now, which is Whole Release. Again, you know, I think sounds like a very good entry point for this record to me, to be honest. Yeah, Andy, talk to me about how that one came together.
Christ alive, how did we start that one? I think this was one of the ones that I think it was the first song that came together when we had a writing session back in October, I believe.
Yeah,
if I'm right in thinking. It was one of the more organic songs that came together more organically, and a lot more
traditional.
Yeah. So it came together. The five of us just sort of hashing out ideas and then going, that sounds like a verse, and then that's a chorus, and then okay, that's a thing, and then this bit sounds like the beginning bit, and then there's a bit in the middle, then some other stuff, then an outro, and then within a day or two, it's like we have a song. And just like the lead single Swarm off the last one, that's like, it came together the easiest. And I don't think I can really embellish on it a huge amount more. It came together really, really easily. And we kind of sort of stepped back and went, okay, that's good enough. And I think there was a couple of bits we added in the studio, like bits of synth and so on. But for the most part, it was just kind of fairly solid once it was written.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that I hear loads of bands say all the time, though, isn't it? That it's the ones that come together simplest or the quickest are often the ones you're most excited about. Have you found that to be the case?
Absolutely.
That one did it. I can't put a finger, I can't point at any other song on the record that came together in even like 3 times the length.
Wow.
Yeah, that one just kind of, that one clicked. And then
Bird and Its Feathers came together fairly quickly. Which will be the next single.
Oh, great. There you go. Oh, so it's clearly proven the point then. These singles are flowing out of you guys. That's a good way to be. That's solid.
Almost like we've been doing it for a little bit now.
Yeah. Practice has got there. Yeah, it's definitely helped. Let's talk about what you guys have kind of been up to the last few months then, because again, it's that weird situation where any band today, you live on the road. This is the longest you will have spent at home, I'm sure, in a very, very long time. Has it been a creative period for you guys, or just some chill time? Like how have you approached? Obviously, you had the record ready to go. Were you just like, that's that, we're gonna bring that up, or have you hit the ground running with more work already?
I needed some time off. I got pretty burnt out by not only the writing process and the lead up to the studio. We were in the studio for 3 and a bit weeks on the trot, and then came out the other end of that, and that's when the other side of the work happens, where we start getting mixes back through, and then you have ideas for additional like synth arrangements and so on, and then coordinating that with a couple of other people. So the whole process stretches on like another couple of months, like past the actual sort of tracking dates. Then we went out on tour with Employed to Serve, and then this nonsense happened. You might have heard of it. And then I needed to kind of just take a bit of time off from writing, and guitar anyway, and started playing piano more, because I can't write palm reader music on that at all. It doesn't work.
There was a lot of work to be done in terms of artwork and bits and pieces like that. The lockdown, the initial lockdown, because of course we're in the second one now, 2.0.
This doesn't seem as bad this time.
I mean,
we kind of know what's going on.
I'm still going to work, mate. I don't know what's going on.
I work from home. I've been working since March.
But yeah, we had a lot of time to figure out artwork and figure out other parts of the record aside from the musicality of it all.
Yeah.
So it was beneficial. We were all busy. I mean, I pretty much started writing immediately. I haven't stopped. I spent lockdown honing my skills on Logic and just guitar playing, bass playing, songwriting in general. Just tried to really buckle down, use the time. I think it's worked. We're already chipping away at I'm already chipping away at album 5. I think me and Andy are gonna, once he's clean and pure again, we'll start we'll start chipping away at number 5, I reckon.
That's great.
I've got some bits to send you.
Oh, nice.
There you go. It's good. That is one of the very few positives I think is going to come out of this year for the music industry, is how much stuff everyone is going to have worked on. And, you know, I know everyone's desperate to get back on the road, and rightly so, but that's such a nice little extra luxury, isn't it? The fact that you can actually work on stuff from home and hopefully have something ready to go again, right? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I think there might be a little dry spell where, because obviously no one's really been able to record or sit in a studio, so unless they're doing home recordings, maybe, I don't know. But so I think there might be a bit of a dry spell, but then anything after that is, like you say, everyone's going to have they've had the time to really write an album. So everything released post, I don't know, 2021 is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, it's something to look forward to, and it keep us all going.
I think it's going to have to be, and I think like people will have to work a lot harder to get material out that's going to be noticeable, because people are going to have the luxury of having extra time. And I think you'll probably find that will be the year the metalcore finally dies on its ass.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Hasn't died yet.
Nah.
We're pulling elements of it. We can't.
2021.
What a brilliant point to start to wrap this up with the phrase "metalcore's about to die." I love that. That's how we'll begin to wrap this up.
It's time.
It's time. Apparently so. 2020. There it is. No, I'll leave you with this, gents, just to kind of say, you know, around this album release, obviously got the live stream show to come, which is really, really exciting. I hope people go check that out. Anything else you want to do direct with the fans? Obviously, it's not a traditional release schedule as you would like to have, playing shows, all those kind of things. Have you guys been thinking about other stuff, other ways to get the album out there and across to the fans?
No, the live stream comes out a few days before the record, and I think it will kind of really make people excited for kind of what we have to offer.
Yeah, I think we're going to be doing a viewing party or a listening party as well. For the record, for the release, so that'd be cool. It'd be nice to interact with people that way.
But no, I mean, I appreciate your time, gents, and honestly, all the best of luck with this release. I like that you guys keep pushing forward, and particular respect to you for powering through at a very difficult time. So yeah, all the best to you guys. All the best for the release. We'll see you in the flesh when we can see you. All right.
Thanks, man.
Very much, man. Take care of yourself.